Do you like riding but hate exercising? I know a lot of people who ride also go to the gym and they work out to work out the muscles they use for riding. But I also know other people who just like to ride. There's no replacement for seat time or peg time, but there are things that you can do that will help your body immensely for when you do get on the bike and you do ride. Unfortunately, I am one of those people that I absolutely abhor the gym. I hate it. I hate working out. I hate doing anything that's exercising besides riding. And I know that I'm not the only one out there. So I have come up with some things that can be done at home without a bike to help you do riding that does not require any kind of equipment. Well, one of them might require mild equipment, but we'll get into that. Hi, welcome back to the Solitude and Single Trek podcast, where we talk about our lives as off-grid RV nomads, traveling with our dirt bikes, our progression in the sport, all things moto, and other off-grid related topics. I'm Zoe Anderson, your host on this podcast, and I live in a 14-foot travel trailer with my husband Taylor and my dog Mia. Currently, we are in the Pacific Northwest, not off-grid, but hopefully we'll be soon after we repair some vehicles and do other icky maintenance. So, since we're not off-grid, I am not currently in a riding area. I am in a housing development. My trailer is parked in the driveway and the bikes are in the garage. I cannot ride my bike around the neighborhood, as sad as that is to say. I can't ride my bike in the backyard because I'm going to ruin my mother-in-law's grass, and I don't want to do that because I don't want to make her upset, and I don't want to pay for reseeding her lawn. So, I can't really ride except once a week right now, because Taylor and my schedules don't really line up with work and other obligations. So right now we have 1 day a week to ride, and we do. So that's all we've been riding is 1 day a week. But I have noticed that when I go to ride, I don't feel as confident and I don't feel as strong as I did when I was riding every single day. And that makes complete sense because I'm not riding every single day. I'm not working out those muscles as much as I should be, or as much as I was before. So I was, taking complete advantage of being off-grid and riding every day, but I also realized that not everybody has that advantage. And now that I am, kind of, I don't want to say normal life, but normal life for most people, living in a housing development, not really in a riding area, can't really ride very much, only on the weekends, I wanted to come up with some ways that people like that can exercise their bodies without going to a gym and without equipment. And that's not, completely disgusting and grueling, and stay somewhat in shape for the riding season, or when they do go out to ride every couple weeks or once a month or however often you're riding, even if it's not going to be until next season. Here's some things that I've come up with that I did some research on that are going to be super beneficial and not completely soul crushing either. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is balance, because as a trials rider, balance is everything. And whether you ride trials or not, this is going to help you in motocross, this is going to help you in the woods, this is going to help you everywhere. So, yeah, balance. Being able to do static balance or track stand balance is such a gift to have when you're riding. And it doesn't seem like, I've had people comment on some of my static balance videos saying, well, why would I use that? I would never use that. I race hare scrambles. I do this, I do that, and I've never had to stop and balance. Okay, well, just because you've never had to stop and balance for more than a half a second doesn't mean that it's not going to be a beneficial skill for you to have. What if you are in a hare scramble and suddenly there's a root that got all dug out or something, and you have to stop, or somebody else, there's going to be a time where having good balance is helpful, and that's going to be for slow technical riding. Your balance is going to be key. It's going to be for, tackling obstacles, bigger obstacles. The better balance you have, the easier it's going to be to tackle these things. So balance is excellent, and being able to static balance is the start of that. So if you do have access to your motorcycle this winter, you can do static balance on it. And you don't even have to start the damn bike. You can just go in your garage, stand on the bike, and you can balance. You can do it in the garage, you can do it in the driveway, you can do it in the backyard like I do. You can do it anywhere. And you don't even have to start the bike. You don't have to disturb anybody. I do it in the backyard for the simple fact that I don't like to be stared at by people. And I've tried to do it in the front yard, and people stare at me, and I don't like it. So I confine myself behind the gate. But I could do it in the garage if the garage was clear enough. So I might actually do that today. Clear the garage enough to move my bike over and balance, because it's 38 degrees and raining right now and I don't really want to do that outside. So if you don't know what static balance is, that is standing on the bike balancing in a static position without having like your kickstand down or a foot down. And that seems like an impossible task, but I have taught countless people over this summer how to start static balancing, and they always feel like superheroes. So I have an excellent Instagram reel on my Instagram, anderson.adventures. And if you want to go check it out, go watch it. It's a really good one. It's only like a minute long, but I briefly show you how to start static balancing. But I'm going to try to explain it in a podcast. And it's not as good as seeing it done in person, but I think I can explain it pretty well. So the first thing you're going to do is, this can be done on an enduro bike or a trials bike. I can't speak for cruisers or adventure bikes. I have static balance on the KLR once, and it was very, very, very brief. So this is mostly geared towards motocross bikes, enduro bikes, trials bikes, small, lightweight motorcycles. So anyways, first thing you're going to do is you're going to find a even surface. You don't want any sort of steep incline or anything like that. If you are on concrete or asphalt, I highly recommend airing down your tires, because the more pumped up your tires are going to be, the less point of contact you have from tire to ground, and the harder it's going to be to balance. So air your tires down, because you're not even starting the bike. You're not moving the bike other than, moving it in an area that's flat. So first thing you're going to do is move your bike, get it out, and then you're going to take your handlebars and you're going to turn them full lock, either to the left or to the right. It's going to, it doesn't matter which way. It's just whatever's most comfortable for you. I am right-handed, and I find that most people who are right-handed prefer the handlebars turned to the left, but I have seen, left-handed people prefer them turned to the right. So it doesn't matter, whatever is most comfortable. And what you're going to do at first is you're going to kind of feel out where the balance point of the bike is. So you're going to hold your handlebar, stand off to the bike. You're not going to sit on the bike yet. Just stand off to one side, and you're going to hold it upright exactly to where it's not going to like crash over to one side or the other. Find where the balance point of your own bike is. And then what I like to do when I teach people is I get some wheel chocks. I make wheel chocks out of 2x4s, but you can use real wheel chocks too. That's probably easier, and a lot of people have them. But if you don't, and you have some 2x4s or maybe some brake drums, some rocks, it doesn't matter. Anything that can chalk wheels, you want to get. What you're going to do is you're going to chalk your front wheel, front and rear. And you're going to chalk your front tire, the front and back of your front tire. So make sure that your front tire is chalked and it can't move. This is really, really important, especially when you're first starting out. And I know that seems like a cheat, but trust me, you can slowly remove cheats and assistance as you get better at it, because no one's going to be good at it right away. So with your wheel fully locked turned and your front wheel chalked, you are going to now find the balance point of your bike again while off the bike. And that way you're going to get familiar with at what point your bike is straight up and down. It doesn't want to crash to one side. And then you're going to mount your bike, but you're going to also hold your front brake. You're going to hold it tight. That's super important. So when you mount the bike, you're going to also kind of try to find your balance point. So you're going to swing one leg up, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to find that balance point with your front wheel turned, with the wheel chalked, and your front brake clamped. You're going to find your balance point where the bike seems like it's, straight up and down. It's not going to fall or crash to one side or the other. And you're slowly going to pick another leg up and put it on the peg. And now you're static balancing, essentially. You might not be able to balance right away. You may have to put a foot down. You may kind of start to go over to one side, and that's okay. You may also have a friend help you out if you have a second person. This might be the easiest way if you're having a hard time starting out like that. And they can hold your forks, or they can hold your rear fender and make sure that you stay upright and they don't let the bike crash to one side or the other. This is especially helpful if you are a vertically challenged rider and you can't put a full foot on the ground, because the last thing I want to do is have anybody try to put a foot on the ground and they drop their whole bike. I mean, dropping your bike happens, but it kind of sucks when it happens a lot and you have to keep picking your bike up. So if you do have assistance and you need assistance, it's totally okay. And the whole concept of, I guess I kind of skipped ahead of that. So another thing you want to do is once you're on the bike, the goal is to transfer weight from one peg, transfer transfer weight into your pegs depending on what way the bike wants to lean. So if your bike is leaning to the left, you're going to want to put more weight into the right peg. If your bike is leaning to the left, you're going to want to, or right, you're going to want to put more weight into your left peg, and so on and so forth. And all the while you're holding your front brake. And so the reason that you're holding your front brake is that is keeping your bike from moving forward and back. So right now you're only focusing on side to side balance. And the reason for having your wheel turned is because that is widening the point of contact between the ground and your tire, which is in turn going to make it easier. You can try to balance with the wheel straight, but I promise it's not easy and it's not going to be very fun or fulfilling for you when you can't balance. I personally like to have a little bit of success and feeling like I can do something instead of just failing constantly. So using these cheats is going to help you be able to static balance, and slowly you can take stuff away. So what I do is when I get somebody to static balance, this is how I start them out, is I chalk their front wheel, they do all that stuff. And once they get the hang of that, I pull the chocks out. And now they have no chalked front wheel and they're doing it all on their own. It's completely, it's all on them. And then over time, what you can do is you can slowly release the front brake, and you can play with how much pressure you have on the front brake, or the goal is to not have to use the front brake at all. And then after that, you can pull your hands off the handlebars completely, because essentially, if you're not using the front brake, you don't need your arms at all. Your arms are only there to hold your balance. So if you pull your arms off, you are balancing with your legs only. And then you could do all kinds of funny stuff. I ate a banana once while I was static balancing. I've seen people play guitar. I've seen people stand in the seat while static balancing. I've seen all kinds of tricks. So you can just play with that, do fun stuff, make it fun for yourself. But that's something that I actually do a lot. And I do that every time I go out to ride. That is the first thing I do when I get on the bike, is I static balance, because that helps me warm up, because balance is important. So if you don't have a bike and your bike's put away, or your bike's in a storage unit, you don't have it at home, you can't do that, you can buy a balance board, or like one of those like half yoga balls, the platform, something like that, and you can balance on that at home. What I've done is I have also built some, I didn't build them, Taylor built them. Taylor built some at-home balance boards out of 2x4s, and we would take 2x4s and cut them into sections that were exactly as wide as foot pegs on a dirt bike. And then in the middle on the bottom, we would take a 4-inch piece of 2x4 and round the edges. And then nail it to the bottom. And then now we have a balance board. And this is really only working your left to right balance, not your forward and back. So a balance board is the most effective way to do balance without your bike. Another thing that you can do for balance, another exercise, is going to be squats. And squats will not only work your balance, but it's going to work your leg muscles, because especially for trials riders, you are more using your legs and your hips to control the bike rather than your arms. Your arms are really more for balance than they are for anything else in trials. And I know that, enduro people might say otherwise, but I'm talking about easy exercises you can do at home to work on stuff that's beneficial for riding for beginners who don't like to work out. Thanks. So, squats. I have kind of developed my own little squat routine that I'm going to start doing. I did it for the first time today. So, and again, I'm going to repeat that I am not a fitness professional. Please take things at your own pace. Do exercises that make sense for you. You can modify these things. I'm just giving you some ideas of things you can do at home that I'm going to start doing at home that I think are going to help me. So squats, I feel, are super beneficial. They are working on your legs. They're working on your glutes. You're working on your core. You're working on all those good things and a little bit of balance all at the same time. So my routine that I'm doing now is I'm doing 30 reps. That's not a lot, because I'm really out of shape as far as stuff like that goes. I don't work out. The most squats I do is when I static balance. Oh, that's something else you can do on your bike. Sorry, I got a little distracted. If you're static balancing and you get to the point where you can balance without hands, start doing squats. Let me tell you, that's hard, and it really works. I mean, those are the squats that I do, is I do squats while static balancing. So I can't say I don't do squats at all, because I do, but I don't really do squats that are not on the bike. So I'm starting out easy with 30 reps. 10 of those reps are regular squats. 20 of those reps are pistol squats. And pistol squats are hard, I found out today. The first time I have ever actually done a pistol squat was today. I've tried them in the past and I've not been able to do them and they hurt and I just refuse to do them. So today I was like, you know what? Nope, I'm doing it. So I watched a video on how to start doing pistol squats because there are ways that you can, just like static balance, there's things you can do to assist your body that is not accustomed to doing these exercises to help your, build up the muscles. So I did some assisted pistol squats today. And, so pistol squats are not only like they're combining your regular squats, so that you're working your glutes, your legs, your core, and you're also working on whole body stability and balance and putting more strength in one leg at a time. So on here I wrote 15 reps because that's what I was going to do. I was going to do like 15 regular squats, 15 reps for each leg, and I ended up just doing 10 on each because 10 was plenty for me. So a pistol squat is essentially doing a squat while holding one leg out and just squatting on one leg, and then I would switch. I'm not going to explain how to do a pistol squat in a podcast because I am not a fitness coach and I'm going to explain it all kinds of wrong. So go on YouTube, go look up how to do a pistol squat because that's what I did. But I did 20 pistol squats today, 10 on each leg. And what I read is like you can start with doing regular squats and build up, your muscle doing regular squats. And I feel like I can do regular squats pretty well. So that's why I felt like I could do pistol squats. You totally don't have to do the pistol squats. I added those for the extra balance and extra, stability that I wanted to work on. So what I did today to assist myself with pistol squats was the coffee table is about 1.5 feet high, and I did pistol squats over the coffee table. So that way when I, went to squat, if I started to fall, which was almost every time, I wouldn't fall completely on my ass and I would fall on the table instead and sit on the table. Most people use a chair. I didn't have a chair that wasn't rolly and wasn't too tall, so I used the coffee table instead. So I did 10 on each leg like that. And then eventually you can use it like a doorway to hold yourself up instead of the chair. And then you can just do a pistol squat all together. So I think for a couple days, I'm going to use the coffee table to kind of sit on and use to assist me. And then maybe I'll use a doorway. And then hopefully I'll keep up on it and be able to do it all by myself. And I've seen people hold on to the edge of their foot and do a pistol squat. I ain't that flexible, so I'm not putting any kind of expectation on myself other than just being able to do one without assistance at all. So, squats. Squats are excellent to do. And like I said, you can do them static balancing once you get good enough. And if you're not good enough to do them at static balance, you can just do them at your house. Maybe do some pistol squats. I don't know. I'm starting with 30 reps because I'm out of shape. And then the last thing that I am doing right now to help myself stay in shape is walking. And that sounds very simple because it is. Because I don't like to work out and I don't want some crazy, stupid workout routine. So I am walking. I'm walking because it builds endurance and it helps me build my legs up, and mostly endurance because right now, every time I take a single track, I get so fatigued so fast. And on the trails bike, it's less arm pump, more of just whole body fatigue. So I'm trying to walk around 4 miles, and I've only been doing it once a week. I might go for a walk today if the rain kind of lets up, because it's not raining right now anymore. But yeah, I've been trying to do 4-mile walks, 3 to 4 miles. I don't recommend doing that if you're not used to walking though, because obviously you need to build up your muscles and your stamina. But I'm trying to build my endurance, and I'm not walking at a slow pace. I'm doing a pretty good brisk walk. And for me, my benefit of walking is this: I, for one, don't have a working vehicle right now. So I am walking to the post office to mail stuff, and I'm walking to the store. And that sounds really silly, but it's actually been helping me get in shape, having a place to actually walk to. And also I can take my dog. And my dog, who is used to being active and outside all the time, is now in a house with a small yard, and she's been pretty unhappy and a complete frickin' menace because she's a very active dog. She's pit bull and boxer and every other neurotic breed of dog you can imagine that's bully breed under the sun. So she's crazy. So the walking really helps her and it helps us. And actually I got this idea not just from needing to walk to places, but Also from another rider who says that he doesn't really want to work out like his arms and everything because, especially as a racer or doing things that require a lot of mobility, if you work your arms too much or your legs, like it's going to decrease your mobility. So walking is a good, simple exercise to do to just increase your stamina and get your heart rate up and a little bit of, cardio, maybe do some running or something like that. So all exercises are good to do, but these are 3 exercises that I am going to start doing to help my body stay in shape for the riding season, since I'm not riding very much right now. So that being said, I don't have a whole lot of plans at the moment for riding because we're kind of out of season for competitions and things like that. I think the very first trial of next season is in February. So I have from now until February to continue working out and working on my riding. And I have this really silly goal of not entering novice next year. And I know I've only done 3 novice classes this year in these trials, but I really want to do intermediate. That's something I'm working on, as I have bad performance anxiety, but that's not going to stop me because I have a goal and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do intermediate next year because I know I can. I just know I'm going to mess up a lot, but that's okay. I think I'm going to learn a lot faster doing something that's a little bit harder for me. So I am still getting used to recording podcasts, and I so appreciate everybody's patience with me, as this is a completely brand new world as far as like social media stuff goes. So I'm working on it. I have some really good podcasts in mind that I want to do. I have some people that I want to interview. I really want to start incorporating like local writers into my podcasts and things like that. So if you have any questions or any ideas, like feel free to like shoot me an email or something. You can reach me at zoe@andersoneliteservices.com, and Anderson is spelled with an S-E-N. So feel free to shoot me an email or DM me on Instagram. Always, my DMs are always open for any kinds of questions, writing questions, podcast questions, personal questions, depending on what that question is. I may or may not answer it, but yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. And my next episode is going to be about our 2-year anniversary in our trailer, because we're coming up on that in like a couple days. So I am going to publish a video podcast that I've already recorded and I'm working on editing right now about our time in our Discover. So if you are at all interested in living RV life or living off-grid, or you're looking for a travel trailer to live in, I highly recommend watching for that podcast and video to come out, because I talk about some really good stuff about living in an RV that was never intended to be lived in, and some of the challenges that we've like overcome, and things that we've done to our trailer to make it more livable. Anyways, I would so appreciate if you would give me a 5-star review on Google, Apple, or Spotify. It would help me out a lot. It would help this podcast get more reach. And as always, we'll catch you next time.